Hello, everyone. This is Professor Moricone from Iona University in the biology department. Today, I'm with Mikayla Cullen, who is a graduate of Iona University in 2020. She had a major in biology with a minor in psychology, and she has graduated from the Marist Physical Therapy program and is currently employed as a physical therapist in Dutchess County. I'd like to thank you for joining us today for this interview.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me.
So the purpose of this Insight to Biology is to get biology graduates and sort of catch up on them and see what you have to say about Iona University and the field that you've been employed in. So we'll start with, if you could tell me and tell us a little bit about why you chose biology at Iona University.
Yeah, so I always knew that I wanted to do something within the medical field. I think, in high school and even before then, I just loved science in general. And I feel like biology is one of the sciences where once you graduate with a degree in that, you can kind of go on to do a multitude of things. You can get, you can be a doctor, physical therapist, optometrist, etc. So I feel like with biology, you can work with people, not necessarily behind the scenes, but that's kind of what I wanted, was to be able to work with people directly.
So you basically had an interest in helping people for a long period of time that led you down this career path.
Yeah.
How about your time at Iona, like your favorite professor, and maybe some of the courses you took, or your favorite courses, because that helps not only prospective students but also current students that might be thinking about perhaps changing a major or so on. So this helps them get familiar with professors that you might have liked and courses that you might have liked. So tell us about those.
Yes. So favorite professors, I would probably say Dr. D'Aversa. She was one of my favorites. She was actually my supervisor and she helped me plan my scheduling. So she was really great, going to her all the time. And she also taught my favorite class, anatomy and physiology. I think especially that class, learning from there and then going to physical therapy school, learning the muscles, the nerves, everything like that was super helpful. And I also really enjoyed Dr. Zuckerman. He's just such a kind teacher. I had him for microbiology. And even though I didn't go into, the research aspect of bio, I genuinely enjoyed microbiology as a class as well.
And I'm sure both of those professors, when they watch this, are going to be glad to hear that.
I hope so, yeah.
We'll let them know. How about some of your accomplishments at Iona while you were here?
Yeah, so I was a part of the National Society of Leadership and Success. I also joined the Tri Beta Honor Society, which is a science honor society. My senior year, I was the president of the Golden Key National Honor Society. So I did that as well. One of my favorites that I've done were my mission trips. I believe it was my freshman, sophomore, and junior year. I did 3 separate mission trips to Ireland. One of them was to Louisiana, New Orleans, and then the other one was to Washington, D.C. So I think that kind of goes hand in hand with me liking to help people. Going on these mission trips was a lot of fun for me.
What would you say about how those things that you did, Iona, prepared you for your physical therapy career?
Yeah, so especially with the mission trips, I think being able to go somewhere else and work with people of all different backgrounds, different socioeconomic statuses, they live in different areas, stuff like that, really helped me get to work with people of all different backgrounds when I started physical therapy. So I think it kind of helped with the aspect of communication, and just the aspect of service in general is a big part of physical therapy.
Right, and those are very good points that you make, because we might forget about those things, the interaction with other people and how that relates to your profession or anything in the healthcare, right? A little bit of empathy and meeting people and understanding them. What can you tell us about the physical therapy requirements? What kind of process is it for physical therapy graduate school? So students thinking about that are definitely going to be interested in that.
Yes. So for physical therapy, it definitely depends on the school, but some schools you have to take the GRE. I took that, I believe it was the summer before my senior year of Iona. You need to get reference letters from one or two professors. I believe you have to have a GPA of at least 3.0 or above. Again, it depends on the school. You need to have a certain amount of hours within the PT field as either a volunteer or getting paid as an aide. My school specifically required 40 hours. Again, depends. And then once you have all of that, you kind of submit everything to this website called PTCAS. It's essentially a universal application process where you upload all your transcripts, your letters, your test scores, and you send it to the schools that you want to apply to. And then hopefully, if like they like what they see, they'll ask you to do an interview, and typically it's an in-person interview, and then that's usually it.
So how long is PT school now
It
once
is,
you get in?
yes, once you get in, so it's 3 straight years. So that means like no summers off, right? So it's like for me, it was the beginning of 2021 to the end of 2023. So just those 3 straight years. And then within those, I had 4 different clinical experiences. So I did 2 that were 8 weeks, and then the other 2 were 10-week long, kind of in between the schooling.
What are the typical courses you would be taking? Are they like or unlike your undergraduate, A&P, and your biology? How do they differ? Is something that students probably would want to know, right? Because they're moving from one level to the next.
Yeah. I think one big thing, like I said, anatomy and physiology in undergrad genuinely did help me get familiar with the muscles. And then of course, moving to grad school, you're in cadaver lab, so you're doing it in real life. So I think that's the big difference, going from a model to going to an actual human body. But it was an amazing experience. And then even some other classes that I thought was super helpful. I actually took a few psychology classes. That was my minor. And in PT school, I think most programs you have to have some psychology credits in order to get into the program. So I feel like just psychology classes in general were super helpful in sort of navigating that person-to-person experience. So I think that was a cool aspect of it too.
How would you rate the level of difficulty in graduate PT? Because we always ask students, like, how would you rate the level of difficulty from, high school to college? And so level of difficulty going to graduate school, what's it multiplied by, a factor of what?
Oh God. Honestly, I will genuinely say that I think that Iona prepared me very well for the aspect of studying. I think learning time management was huge for me at Iona. And once you got that down, for me, it transferred over to grad school. I don't even know how I would multiply it. Yes, grad school is more tough than undergrad, but I did feel prepared knowing how to study. I think that's a big thing I learned at Iona.
Okay. So with that, thank you very much for joining me today, Mikayla Cullen. I'm Professor Moricone for Iona University.